I will show you how you can increase your checkout conversion rate. This is exclusively if you're under Shopify Plus or if you're a CMO of a Shopify Plus brand. If you're not, this is probably not going to be useful for you, so you can just skip. But if you're on Shopify Plus, I'm going to show you exactly how I helped a client to get those results right here. And also, I just want to explain my thought process. Now you can replicate it to get a win for yourself or for your client or for the brand you're working with. So this brand has a lot of traffic. This is why I run A/B test. And what I did basically is I looked at their checkout. They used to have one review and trust badges. And what I did is I run existing tests. So in the first test I run, I basically took out everything from the checkout. V1 is the empty checkout. V2, I kept the trust badges that they used to have until now. V3 and V4 are iterations with different angles, basically. And as you can see, we had almost no change on conversions and on AOV. So, and even like a dip for the V4 in the AOV. So what I concluded from this, because it's an inconclusive test, is that trust badges, whether it's here or not here, like doesn't have much impact for the brand. And actually, even V1, which is having nothing in checkout, performed better than V2, which means that the trust badge we've been using for 2 years were actually hurting conversions. And so then I ran an iteration of that test, but focusing on the review, which was like the second step of the checkout that we had so far. And here, the V1 was having nothing in the checkout again. V2 was the review that we used to have until now, and V3 and V4 were two different reviews. I tried different angles. So the one review we had so far was about shipping, customer service, and value prop. It was like a big review. And then what I tried is a shorter review that talks about the product use cases and benefits. And I expected this one would perform better, but it's finally the V4, which was talking about pain points that the product solves, that actually was a win. And interestingly, it was not only a win in terms of conversions, but also in terms of AOV. I expected that only conversion would be moving with checkout tests, but apparently it's also impacting AOV. And I believe the reason is like I found the reason when I checked order distribution data. I realized that the V4 had more people adding more to cart than the V1s. Like the order distribution was different between V1 and V4, which made me realize that with a specific review, you can kind of like repel some customers with like lower cart value, and you can address the concerns that some other customers, potential customers with like higher cart value could have, and so this is nudging people with higher cart value. Like I think this is super interesting. So this is the data of the test. Again, just like I said, increased conversions, but also AUV. And so the lesson here is that checkout testing doesn't change what's in the cart, but it does change which shoppers complete their order. Okay, so now you must be thinking, how do you apply this to my own brand? Again, it has to be a Shopify Plus brand, because otherwise you will not be able to do this testing. I'm gonna take the brand Rugable, I don't know how you say, as an example. This brand is making more than 150 million a year, so it's a 9-figure brand, well established. And if you check their checkout, there is only one specific customization that I can see, which is this trust badges, the return guarantee, made to order, and free shipping. And what I would do if I would work with this brand is first do an existing test, like those trust badges compared to nothing in the checkout, and see which one do perform better. Obviously, if we have those trust badges here, like we think that this is helping, especially because it's really like at the end of the purchase funnel. But maybe it's just not helping at all, like we've seen in the first that I run. So obviously I would run this existing test first, but then I would run a review test and and not just selecting any review, but we're going to apply the same principle, which got me this win because I've done it for another brand since and it worked. And right now I'm testing it with, again, another brand, like a third one. And the data is pretty good so far. So here, what you will want to do for the review that we are going to showcase is go in your, go check your ads. Which of your ad is the most profitable? So basically, this is not one of my clients, but if it was a client, what I would do is have a look at their ads, have a look at their website. If they have post-purchase service, it's even better because it's actually shoppers telling us like why they bought, etc. And here, what I can see everywhere on the ads, and it's something that I found here again, almost all washable rugs. And if I'm in Facebook ads library, I'm seeing everywhere stylish, machine washable, and then the offer 40% off this Black Friday. So elevate your home with rugs that are stylish, machine washable, and now up to 40%. Okay, only the peels, no stress, our washable rugs handle it. This is a pretty good angle. Excellent condition as far as I can tell. Okay, so this is like a review. Oops. Soft on your feet, tough on messes, machine washable rug for every day. Perfect touch my home. Okay. Life get messy, your rug shouldn't, ours is washable and chic. So it's really like everything turns around the fact that it's stylish, it is good, and that it's washable, right? Like that's the main USP. And the main pain point I solve is like, and I'm pretty sure there are some reviews, some ads talking about this. It's like if you have dogs or like animals, domestic animals in the house, or just like you're on a holiday or you're welcoming people to your house and or you have kids playing around and your rug is gonna get it's gonna get dirty, and so obviously having a machine washable rug solves this problem. And if it's stylish, I mean, like, this is probably one of the most important aspect when people are buying element for the house. They want it to match their style, they want it to match their preferences. And so obviously here the style is important and the fact that it's machine washable is important. So like the two of them are the what makes the brand unique. And so what you can do here, we could go and look at the reviews per product, but what I'm going to do is just go on their Trustpilot because it is pushed directly at the top of their website. It's one of the first few elements that we see, especially how big it is. And so there, what you want to do is scroll down and click on more filters. Then you want to type the exact word that you're seeing in the ads. So here, for example, it was washable. I guess this was like the main keyword. So as you can see, we have a lot of reviews with the word washable. The rugs purchased are great quality and look lovely, chosen for their looks and the fact that they're washable. The buying process was very straightforward and delivery fairly prompt. This could be the review that you're going to test in your checkout. If someone watching this video is working at Ruggable, test this. Just speed test and see. Purchased turfed washable rug 3 months ago with 2 dogs and 4 grandkids under 5. It needed a wash. Very happy to say it's been washed and looks like new. I had to take it to the laundrette as it's too big for my washing machine. Brought it home and hung it out to dry. Very happy. I think this would have been like a perfect review until the point where it says like I had to take it to the laundrette because it's too big. Without it, maybe I would have pushed this one. Okay, this one is not a good one. Great quality. So sure, we bought the all-in-one rug, blah, blah. Runner today and looks and felt beautiful. Very pleased with my purchase. The option from Ruggable and Design and Land. My hallway is about 6 meters. Okay, this is like very specific. We were kept informed of delivery process and very pleased with the rug and mat order. Non-sleep on our wooden floor and the fact that they're washable is so useful with dog. This is a really good one. Lovely rug with the bonus of being machine washable. The rugs are lovely. We did find it hard to get our rug smoothly attached to the grip and the rug as we had the very large rugs and it was a real struggle. I think it was the line of the rugs. So you get my point. It's really like go through all of your reviews and think which one would reassure people the most at checkout. Like right when your ideal customers are about to buy, what is the one thing they need to hear? And very often, what's gonna work. Like when I saw the results of my previous test, it's because we have a loop from the first touch point that people are saying we had to the last touch point when they are about to buy. Like they are reminded of why they click on the ad in the first place and why they're buying from this brand and not another one. I'm not gonna stay here. But yeah, absolutely wonderful rug. Quality is very good and feels like a traditional rug, but with amazing pro of being washable. I am very happy with the size and texture. I may buy another one. I think it would be great to have something about the dogs, the kids or grandkids, because those are use cases where people can relate, right? So yeah, I now have two ruggable rugs, one kitchen runner. I was initially worried about the quality, but once on the pad, they're great. We have two golden retrievers, so washing was a big plus point. And to my surprise, they wash really well. Highly recommend investing in a ruggable rug. Yeah, this is a perfect review. Like she has 25 reviews on Trustpilot. Looks legit. I would just use this and run an A/B test with intelligence, checkout test to see if this works. So then where do we go from there? Like let's say, for example, you test this review inside of the checkout and you get a similar result as this one, for example. What should you do then? What you should do is look at the different segments that you have. So, when you look at the data on intelligence, you can see desktop and mobile, new returning, and depending on the brand, the segment is going to be different. Like some brands that I work with at like 95% on mobile. So I'm almost not looking at what's going on desktop because we know like 95% of the traffic is coming through mobile. And very often it's like at least 90% of the revenue is also coming from mobile. So here for this brand, the main segmentation was in countries. So we had Australia, the US, and the UK. And so I run iterations where I get just one review, so the one we saw previously, and I had like a small flag next to it because I've seen many 8 and 9 figure brands who are like a review in the checkout with like a small flag next to it to make it more relatable. Like if you're living in the US and you're saying like a US flag, maybe it will speak more to you. I don't know. So I tested the hypothesis, and as you can see in Australia, which is the biggest market for this brand, it did not work very well. Actually tanked a little bit the AUV, but for the US, the result was insane. And then like for the UK, the result was also insane, but on the other side, right? Like conversions really deep in the checkout and AUV also deep. So this was the results in the US. Obviously, we're seeing this data, and I've been monitoring closely what was the KPI before we started the test and what is the KPI after we run the test. And since I ran this test, like the checkout conversion rate for the US, specifically for this brand, has been constantly over 49% when it was 47% before that. Obviously, we are in November, so you could say that performances are boosted. But here, what I'm really looking at is the long-term trend. And obviously, I can do iterations on this later on. But what I wanted to say is really like once you run your checkout test and you have a win, then you want to make iteration with it. If your test is break even, then maybe try to find something different. If you've tested reviews, now you can test trust badges. But if you have positive signals with reviews, then just try to do it again. Look at the different segments that you have and the ones that make the more sense, and then try different iteration like I've done here. So I just want to leave you with 3 main lessons that I got from my checkout testing. First one is that checkout blocks that you have been using until now are potentially useless or even hurting conversions. So run existent tests because you never know unless you test. Two, reviews are not just for social proof. You can use psychology in the reviews to nudge high value shoppers to complete their orders. I show you how to do this. And three, the biggest gains come from personalizing your checkout experience by market and not from generic one size fits all. For not this brand, but like the other brand that I started doing checkout tests, I went even further because they are selling both in the US and in France. Like the two markets are like huge. Usually, when they started, it was like 80% France and 20% the US, and now it's getting 50-50. And so obviously now I'm personalizing everything. Like if you go in the French checkout, you're going to see a French review that really speaks to the French audience, or I would say like the segment of the French market. And if you go in the US, you're going to see a review that US customers will relate to. So again, I'm going to say it again, the biggest gains come from personalizing your checkout experience by market and not from generic one size fits all. And what's great now with intelligence is that you can run personalization in the checkout, just like in any other area of the website. And you can make sure that, you know, whether you're on desktop or on mobile, whether you're in Australia or in the US, like you get something that is specifically tailored for you and that has been tested before. So we know it works better. But obviously, like I said, keep track of the KPIs before and after the test. And yeah, I'm just going to leave you with this. If you want to have a free call with me to discuss about your checkout or other parts of your website, I'll be glad. I'll put a link in the description of the video. And if you like this type of content, please put a thumbs up. It really helped me and you know, give me courage to keep creating content, even though I have only like 100 and something subscribers. So please put a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll make more of this type of content. Cheers, and I see you in the next one.